Donald Trump, once again, as he often does, gave one of these strange teleprompter sort of coma speeches where he looks visibly confused by the words on the prompter, which, by the way, still doesn't keep him on message, and jumped directly on the Republican bandwagon of the last 48 hours of blaming video games for violence in the real world. I played clips for you yesterday from Fox News, Texas Lieutenant Governor, and a Republican Congressman, Kevin McCarthy, blaming video games for shootings, blaming the violence within those games for making people go out and commit shootings in the real world. And I told you yesterday, they are united behind this talking point because they don't want to take responsibility or acknowledge Donald Trump's own rhetoric and their fear-mongering about immigrants for year after year after year, for being at least partially responsible for shootings and violent acts that we've seen of late. Here is Donald Trump jumping on the bandwagon, bringing up video games.
Second, we must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy today for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this, and it has to begin immediately.
Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast reminded us of this clip, which is just one example. In this one, Donald Trump joking and sort of playing around with the idea of violence against immigrants to stop them from coming to the United States. Check out this clip, and there are many of these.
But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that statement. Only in the panhandle.
That type of thing is far more responsible for real world violence than video games. We know this. And before we get back to the main topic here, Donald Trump also mistakenly referring to the Toledo shooting yesterday instead of Dayton. The shooting, of course, was not in Toledo. It was in Dayton. And you'll notice in this clip, Trump's strange sniffing is back. His mush mouth speech is back. There's something very odd about this.
If we are able to pass great legislation after all of these years, we will ensure that those who were attacked will not have died in vain. May God bless the memory of those who perished in Toledo. And may God protect them. May God protect all of those from Texas to Ohio. May God bless the victims and their families. May God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Weird that this happens even when using a teleprompter. Who knows? The White House has retroactively removed Trump's mention of Toledo from the official White House transcript of the speech. So anyway, they're jumping on the video game bandwagon. And I told you yesterday, and I will remind you, other countries have video games. They have atheists. They have mental illness. They have all the things that we have that are often blamed for shootings. Usually they have fewer guns, but they have no or almost no mass shootings the way that we do. So this is a planned, coordinated talking point distraction. How does Japan have almost no gun deaths despite having just explosive video game usage? It is not beyond, we can now say, to say it a different way, it is beyond any doubt that the anti-immigrant rhetoric of this president is having an effect. And the debate is over what level of an effect is it having. And the right has done two things. One is they've gotten on this video game bandwagon. The other is to finally have Donald Trump mention white supremacy during his speech. And now Trump has actually said he condemns white supremacy, a white supremacist, which I commend him for. I do, to the extent that I believe it. But why did he not condemn it when white supremacists endorsed him in 2015? Why did he play coy with it back then and during 2016 in his campaign? What about after Charlottesville? Why has it taken this long for Trump to finally say it? We know why, because he's been resisting it, and now he's saying it because he almost has no choice. They are up against the wall here. The shooter mentioned Trump in his manifesto. Fox News talked about a troubled young man who had a manifesto, which they won't tell us the details of. as Republicans all go on national television and radio and talk about video games. This is what's called BS. And I don't even think that they realize they're sort of inadvertently pushing for an anti-free speech regulation of the content of video games, which they're normally opposed to. Understand that if the full conclusion of video games are to blame is actually grasped as the cause here, at the tail end of that, it's telling video game makers what can or can't be part of the video games that they make, which is fundamentally the opposite of what Republicans have been advocating for along the lines of free speech and censorship all this time. There was a movement in the 90s about video games and violence. And to be clear, I really want to make sure people know this. I don't deny that there are effects of violence in media to study. This includes news of crimes on the news, reports of crimes on the news, better said, violence in movies, violence in video games. But pretending now that the connection is violence in video games causes people to commit mass shootings on the basis of white nationalist anti-immigrant beliefs, that's just despicable. And the most shameful part of it is that they pretend that the point of the guns that people own is everything but committing violent acts. Guns are for hunting. Guns are for self-defense. Guns are for the craft of cleaning them and understanding them. They're for target practice. Guns are for everything other than violence. There's no connection to violence. But the video games, that's where the violence is, and video games are now a matter of life and death. Truly disgusting, and they may well get away with it because no heinous act, we know this, no heinous act will get the gun fetishists to reconsider their point of view. They know this, and that's why they're hopping on this video game talking point bandwagon now, and it may well work.